boys and girls, and all of God's children. Welcome to the Church School Neighborhood. I'm Sister Angie Spears, the excited Church School Superintendent. What a wonderful, wonderful lesson we have for you today. This is the last lesson in our spring quarter, and the title of our quarter has been Social Teachings of the Church. And for this last month in May, we have been studying caring for ourselves as God's children. So we've looked at lessons that talked about the importance of work, the importance of rest. Well, today's lesson is titled Fellowship Through Worship. And our lesson is going to come from Matthew chapter 28, verses 18 through 20, and then Hebrews chapter 10, verses 22 through 25. So today, we're really going to be talking about worship. And when we open up today's lesson, there's two Bible texts that we have. The first one in Matthew, it's Jesus. And he is telling us, it's called the Great Commission. He is telling the disciples to go out and to preach the good news to everyone. Tell everyone about Jesus. Well, when we get to the second text in our lesson today, it's Hebrews. And in Hebrews, and we think that it may have been Paul who wrote Hebrews. In Hebrews, we are told the importance of not wavering in our faith. We are to worship God and not waver in our faith. And so, as you are discussing this lesson with your church school teacher, I hope you'll have an opportunity to really appreciate what it means to worship God. And if you've been in Sunday school and you've taken part in Christmas presentations, a big part of it is when Jesus is born and the shepherds come, they come to worship the baby Jesus. Then there's the angel and the host of the heavenly hosts, and they come and they worship Jesus. Well, our very special word for today is going to be hold fast. Hold fast. And let me share with you the memory verse, and we will go back to it. Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who has promised is faithful. So it's saying, hold on fast to your faith because God is faithful. And it is Daisy who has the very, very best example of that key word, hold fast. What did you want to share with us, Daisy? Daisy remembers last Christmas, and she was with her mom. And what did you say, Daisy? When it's Christmas time, oh my goodness, all the malls are full of people. There's lots and lots of people. And so when she goes out with mom says, Daisy, there's so many people. Not only do I want you to stay right by me, you've got to hold my hand. Am I right, Daisy? Well, that's what she was doing. But there's so much going on. There's ladies running around, sprinting ladies with perfume and say, try this perfume. There's people with signs saying, come into our store. We have a great sale. There's so much going on. And there's toys to look at. There's just so much. And so mom is there with Daisy, and she's holding her hand, and then a group of teenagers swarms by. And before you know it, mom realizes, Daisy's not here. Where is she? Mom panicked, didn't she, Daisy? Mom looked for the information booth, and it was right across from her at the opening of the mall. And she's headed there, and before she takes just a couple of steps, she hears a voice, Mommy, Mommy. It was Daisy. Boy, was Mom happy. Boy, was Daisy happy. All that it took was that they just let go of each other's hand. And did Mother get mad at you, Daisy? Nope. She says, Daisy, I should have been holding tighter to your hand. We should have both been holding tighter. And she explained to Daisy, you can't just hold my hand. You have to hold my hand tight. Because if you just have your hand inside of my hand, it's too easy for it to slip away. You and we have to really hold hands tight. Very, very good. So hold fast, right, Daisy? Absolutely. As you're listening to that memory verse, it talks about holding fast, and without wavering. And Buttercup has this wonderful example about what that means without wavering. What did you share with us, Buttercup? Well, Buttercup remembers when he started learning how to ride a bicycle. So he thought he had outgrown the tricycle and he was ready to ride the bicycle. And what was going on, Buttercup? He kept wobbling. He'd get on the bike and it kept feeling like he was going to fall. He just couldn't make a straight. And Uncle Billy happened to come over this one weekend, and he said, let me help Buttercup. This is my job as the uncle. And what did he tell you, Buttercup? He says, Buttercup, he says, it's just like when I started driving a car. I was having the same trouble. Couldn't drive straight down the road. And my father told me, Billy, if you want to drive straight, just look at the center of the road. Look at where you're headed, and then you won't waver. And really, that's what we're being told in our lesson today, that if we keep our eyes on Jesus, we won't waver. But if we're looking at all kinds of other things, then we can get sidetracked. But if we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, we will not waver. I know that's a lot to say. And so when you get in your church school class, I'm sure your church school teacher will explain this for you even the more. Let's go back to our memory verse. And again, the memory verse comes from Hebrews 10, verse 23. Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who has promised is faithful. Can we say that again? Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who has promised is faithful. Do you think you can fill that in when some of the words are missing? Let's see. Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who has promised is faithful. Wonderful, wonderful, great job. And again, I know you're going to really enjoy this church school lesson. When we get to next week, we're going to actually begin our new summer quarter. And the title of the quarter is, the testimony of faithful witnesses. The testimony of faithful witnesses. And our very first lesson is going to be Deborah, a leader in a national emergency. And that lesson is going to come from Judges chapter 4, verses 4 through 10, then verses 14 and 21 through 22. It is going to be a wonderful, wonderful lesson. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, God bless you. Bye-bye.